Early 1950s Hoffman Easy Vision black and white television. We're going to do a resurrection here. We're going to try and bring this back to life. This was featured in a previous video where I went over a bunch of sets, and somebody wants to adopt it, and it's going to need some work, that's for sure. It's as is in poor condition, but I think there's enough of it here to bring it back to life. It's got the green glass. What we're going to try and do first is identify a model number or an exact year or something, so I can try and locate the schematic on it. That'll probably take longer than the actual resurrection to locate the service data, because it's rather rusty. Ooh, even got some rat feces there, it looks like. Maybe not. Should we be so lucky? We tested the CRT in a previous video. It's marginal. It'll probably produce a picture with a brightener. Looks like we got this. Let's see. Channelized dial. It's a solid brass, so this probably went right here. Wow, KTTV channel 11, that still is today. That's Fox. I don't know if 13 is KLAC. Wonder where the rest of this is. I wonder where this went, if this went. I wonder where... I don't see the beauty plate for that. Here's one knob. What do we have here? August 17th, 1950. That's a good start. And then we have 170 here. So we got one knob. Most likely this was retired because the CRT was very weak. Another knob right down in here. Lots of vacuum bulbs missing. Here's one under there that's just laying there. Vertical size, vertical linearity, vertical hold, brightness, horizontal hold, horizontal drive, focus width, 6, can't read that. The model number would have been stamped on the back like this. The model number would, and it could be a model 170, I don't know. But 1950 is a solid lead. All we have to do is go through the SAMs for 1 year. Oh crap, the fuse is missing. The fuse is missing for the horizontal deflection. There we have our capacitor there. Doorknob capacitor, that's what they call those. It's been sitting abandoned for a lot of years. It's got a lot of hours on it. Encrusted with dead spiders. Perma-test tube. Oh, it's got the Hitachi logo on it. Lots of missing bulbs. We got 2 missing here. I guess this is the sound demod right here. We got 2 missing here, 2 missing here, here. We got 1 missing right there. And 1 missing out of the tuner. Let's take a look underneath. Keep in mind, I'm just doing a resurrection of this set. I'm just trying to bring it back to life so we could see it play. The person who's adopting it is going to do a full restoration. So I'm going to do as minimum as I can, not to molest it and take away their fun. And boy, this is a Black Beauty's matter set to the max. And look at that choke, looks like it got hot. That's like for the filament, I think. That's for the filament supply, and that choke is baked. Look at this capacitor. It looks like it's leaking, and so is this one. Look at, there's like tar leaking out of these, and I haven't even powered it up yet. Wow, the nut's broken on that thing. I like the IF transformers. That's sophisticated. Look at this operation right here. I think that's stock. Lovely can dome resistors. These always go open. Sangamo. That looks like a replacement. Look at that crappy solder on there. These tuners are great. Boy, but yeah, Black Beauties matter to the max. Black Beauties and sand resistors. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a big power transformer. I don't know why Hoffman used such massive power transformers. It's like a 400 watt transformer. Look at this right here. Here's a white Black Beauty. It's that yellow, purple, orange, so 0.047. It was blue, 600 volts. 0.047 at 600 volts. Red, orange, 0.022. Yellow, purple, red is 0.0047. You kind of read them just like resistors. I don't know, you get to the point where you just look at them and know what they are. Yeah, look at that transformer. That's seriously like a 300 to 400 watt transformer. Every time I do one of these videos on a Hoffman, I always get 3 or 4 messages from the tube amp guys, the guitar amp guys that want these transformers out of these sets. Like I said, it's all there, but it's gonna really need a little help. Like the bow tie antenna on the top. So we got another thing here. 650 table model. Of course, there's like this black stuff on it. 14-inch. Alright, so we go to the front of our index, and 1950 folders 81 through 118, most of which I don't have going back that far. So let's just take a look here. Someone wrote next to the date 170 here. There is a model 170 in Sam's 150-7. Now 150 would be in 1951, but maybe Sam's caught up to it late. I have it in Riders Volume 6. I want one of these TVs. A Gamble Skogmo. Yes, our family only buys Gamble Skogmo fine televisions. Oh, here it is. Chassis 170. There you go. For your Gamble Skogmo. So it's a 14-inch tube, 200 watt. 3 watts audio out. Okay, this is what we're interested in to start. So here's something kind of interesting. So these are the tubes. So of course the 6K6 and 6SN7 are missing. 6AL5 is missing. 6AU6 is missing. Here's something interesting. The tuner shows two 6J6s. This one here is missing, and somebody wrote in pencil 6AG5 on the side of it. This is a 12BH7, and this is a Gamble Skogmo. This is a 6AU6. I wonder what goes right there. 12BH7 goes right there. Alright, we can pull some of the bulbs off of this. This is 6AL5. I have yet to throw these away yet. The pins on the tubes that we're laying in there have a lot of that green corrosion crap on them. And I'm sanding them clean, but I don't like to do this because once they get that green stuff, it breaches the seal, and then the tubes leak and get gassy when they heat up. But for a resurrection, I'm going to just clean them up. Hopefully they're good enough just to get us a picture for a minute. I got all the tubes populated. The only one I had to dig out of my stash was this one, which is the video output. This is a 6BZ6 Boy Zebra, and the one that should have been in here is supposed to be a 6CB6 Citizens Band. This was a legitimate replacement in the tube substitution book. There's a little sidestep to this video. I figured I would dig this out. I did a video on this previously. This is a subcarrier receiver, and it was picking up, at the time it was picking up Chinese broadcasts off an FM Latin station. And I just wondered, with all this kind of anti-Chinese sentiment becoming universal, if it would be off the air. So I pulled this out, and sure enough, Radio Golden Vintage is now Radio Static Vintage, your coronavirus radio station headquarters. This is a Roland 14BP4, so this has been replaced before. Just as a little disclaimer, this is a resurrection. This is not a restoration. This is not the appropriate way. This is not the complete way to restore an old TV. This is the hack way to make an old TV work just for the sake of making it work. So don't take this as a restore. The person that's going to be adopting this will be doing a full restore on it, and I don't know if he'll be stripping it down, and I don't know what you could do, sandblast the chassis and powder coat it. Some of these are cadmium. These chassis are cadmium plated. That's why I use gloves, you know, with a lot of this stuff. Not only to keep my hands clean, but because there's lead and cadmium and dirt and dust and rat feces and all kinds of stuff. And plus, they're just sexy. These are sexy today. These are the in thing. These in a mask, an N95 mask. Oh man, I'm surprised YouTube doesn't promote the video for having gloves in it. This is COVID-19 apparel right here. This fuse is missing, and this fuse is missing. And I have a feeling that they were removed to be used somewhere else. Oh, the fuse blew. I'll just go steal one out of that old TV outside, rather than there being a problem. So I need to get 2 fuses, and we'll probably do a light bulb here. Okay kids, don't try this at home. We have dangerous 110 volt wiring sticking out here. Here's what we're going to do. I put a 1 amp in there. I put a 5 amp in there. I don't really care because I'm using the light bulb as current limiting, and I'm going to bring this up on a variac. I'm going to pull both of those fuses before I give it to the new owner. So here we go. Still nothing. Oh, there it barely is lighting up. And I'm at, wow, 90 volts here? I'm at full 120 volts, and it's just starting to light up. About 1 amp. That seems kind of low. The bulbs are getting hot, it looks like. Some of them are getting hot. I can't tell. Ooh, the 5U4 does not look like it's getting hot. Huh. Only some of these are getting hot. Now I remember we saw that burnt coil on the bottom. So the 5U4 is getting hot. It's lit up and it's hot to the touch. It looks like the tuner tubes are getting warm or glowing. The damper's glowing, but the damper usually has its own separate filament winding so they can float the cathode up to a few hundred volts, but nothing over here. This whole area looks dark. Well, maybe that's warm. This is the coil I was talking about, looked kind of baked. And that is in the filament circuit. And that, I believe that's the filament power between this tube and this strip up here, which is the audio. And see, from there it comes to here, and then to right here, and then from there, where does it go from there? From there it goes over. Well, this looks like one, because this is the that brown right there is a CRT filament lead. So where does this go? This goes over to here. And the filaments aren't just all tied together in parallel. It's a more complex circuit than that. So let me look at this and see if I can make sense out of what's going on. So for instance, this tube here, basically brown and orange are the filament. And one side of the filament is tied over, follow the orange wires, tied over here to the can dome resistor. On the other side of it, if you follow it, is tied to the filter capacitor. And then the other side of it is tied right here to the other side of the filament lead on the transformer. So they're floating the filaments on this tube up at 100 volts or so. That way it's less likely for the cathode to arc to the filament when there's a huge differential in the voltage between the filament and the cathode. So on some of these tubes, and I'm measuring it, and I've got 0.3 ohms. Let's see if we get any voltage there. We give us some power here. We'll bring it up on the variac. And yes, it looks like we are getting voltage there. 60 volts, we're getting 2.7. Okay, so that tube should be getting hot. Now I need to figure out where all of these are referenced to also. I need to follow. Alright, these, one side is tied to here and the other side is soldered to the chassis, so these tubes are all just referenced to ground, and we're measuring basically a dead short, 0.1 ohm. So let's again go to AC volts and bring it up here on the variac, and we turn the switch on. We have voltage here, so why am I not seeing these filaments? Well, with this all the way up at 128 volts, I'm getting, because of the drop in the light bulb, getting 5.31 volts. So I guess that's, maybe that's the problem. I'm just a volt low, and I'm kind of being hypercritical here, and the filaments are glowing. I just can't see them out here, because they all got voltage. I just double checked. I'm kind of just looking at some voltages here. Just 166 there. We got 140 there. We have 115 there. So I don't think there's anything open. This guy is getting warm, so it's not open. This guy is sort of maybe warm. Let's check and see what we got on both sides of it. If they're getting warm, they're not totally open. So we got 264 volts on one side, and on the other side we got 327. So that one's probably not open. Let's see this here. Got 204 volts there. And we got 215 there, so that's probably not open. Right here we got 163. Another thing these gloves do is they will keep you from getting shocked. You know, you can touch a couple hundred volts and it won't get through these. They're not electrical rated, but they do the job. So looks like we got all of our B pluses. Let's take another look. Let's take a look at this filter capacitor here. We have 235 volts there, DC. Let's take a look at our AC. Yeah, 3.2 volts. It's not, probably not good, and it's not bad. Let's see here what we got. 215 volts. Let's see what we got AC. 0.8. They're filtering. They're definitely not open. Let's see what we got here. 95 volts. 95 volts. Let's see what we got AC. Almost nothing, so that looks okay. Let's see on this one what we got. No AC. 80 volts DC. So they're filtering. They're not open. That's not a very good check, but it's a very crude test. I actually dare say we're generating a little high voltage here. Go up all the way there. Light bulb's taking up probably 50 volts of the AC line, so yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, that's not enough to actually heat the filament and produce any DC, assuming this tube is good, but that's a start. I went up to a 500 watt lamp there, so let's see what happens here. Maybe oh wow, look at that. Well, that's kind of cool. 9 kilovolts. It's not a lot, but it's pretty good. We could go up. See if I adjust this, if that. Boy, I went up just a little bit and that light bulb got a lot brighter. Let me back it off. Ooh, something. It's probably those black beauties starting to short underneath. Wow, we got an actual, it's not very bright, it's dim, but we have a line on the CRT. That's impressive. Okay, so of course the vertical's not working, so that 12 BH7 that was laying in there is the vertical oscillator and output. So this one here is the vertical output. I sprayed some cleaner in that socket, and examining that socket, it looks like some of the female pins are pushed way down in there. I mean, I doubt the tube is bad. It could be. We could test it. Okay, this socket is bad. I just took and pushed all the pins down in the socket with a pair of pliers. So that socket needs to be changed, the vertical output tube socket. So let's see if it works any different now. Same thing, and I only see half of that tube glowing, and barely even that. Here's the 12BH7, and it's okay. It should work. It's not it's not dead. Both sections are there and there's no leakage. So I am looking at this tube and I can clearly see both heaters in there, and only one of them is getting hot. I know you can't see it in the camera. The one on the left is getting hot. The one on the right is not getting hot. Both of those things were lighting up in the tube tester. Okay, I got both of them lighting up now. What I did is I took and I used the pliers. That tube socket is bad. That tube socket is very, very bad. And there we go. We have vertical deflection now. Not very good, but we have vertical deflection. So we got a restorable set here. Okay, all of these are frozen, and I tried, and I'm not going to ruin them. Take and polish these. Oh, chunks. Polish these off a little bit for 3 and 4. I wonder if that's tuner cleaner from like 1955. Since we use 3 and 4 here, I'm not even going to try and get this to pick up channel 6. I could. So serviceable. This stuff from the 50s was just so easy to work on. This was like the pinnacle of serviceable television. 60s, I mean the 50s. It just got more complex and tough to work on from here. Okay. I got a speaker on there now. Let's see if we hear anything. Also, these are, I tried, and these are all frozen, and I'm not going to break them. I'm not going to try and force them, break them loose. Because the gentleman restoring this has the option to take them apart and fix them. I don't want to screw them up. If I twist them and they're frozen inside, it might just destroy them permanently where you could disassemble them and clean them properly. Let's see if we get anything from the speaker. What happened to our vertical, that damn tube? Yeah, that tube socket is a big... We're not getting anything here through the tuner. Crackle Pony Master Play. Oh, there we go. Well, it sounds like it's working, but I'm starting to wonder about this RF amp tube, because it says 6AG5 here, and the schematic I had said 6J5, but it's like it's working, but the RF amp is bad, because yeah, it's hard to tell. And you know, this beauty It's hard to tell. And I could swear when I grab this, I hear channel 6. So it's like nothing's getting through the RF amp. That's channel 6. But this tube is not working.
¿Verdad? Para que no se aburran, no lo hagan. Estamos en un momento muy difícil y cualquier cosita que hagamos cuenta con la diferencia para que esto no dure más tiempo. Así que...
So what is a 6AG5? Useful at frequencies up to 400 megacycles. Well, it's a 7-pin tube. Well, the 6J6 I had in there is quite different. So is the ice cream truck an essential business? I mean, under shelter in place, the ice cream truck rolling, isn't that like... Yeah, people don't get it, man. It's gonna... People just don't get it. They're not... They were taking it seriously for a couple days, but now they're just like, oh, well, whatever. Okay, well, let's just watch it roll out then. It's going to be Chino virus to the max. LA is going to be just like New York. I don't know if you can hear the ice cream truck in the background. I could crank the gain up here. Okay, there's the mic gain all the way up. Yep, taking that transmission real serious, people. Run up there and rub your hands all over that roach wagon. Might as well just lick the tray also. So I take a look at this Hoffman here. Remember, this is the one with the beautiful asbestos sheet on the top that we resurrected, the homeless pissing post, and it uses a 6AG5 in that slot on the tuner. So I'm going to pull that 6AG5 and we'll put it in this set. Yes, that makes a difference. Tuning in.
Start the hearing foundation. And there is one on his bus. Trillions of species on Earth. They infect us, but they also infect every living thing. Redwood trees get think that this is such a successful way of life that after we got back from Japan, we were
It's tuning the FM band.
and he wanted more songs. You know, discovery.
So this does need a 6AG5 here.
Sick tobacco plant. And I remember being horrified.
So if this is in the FM band right now, I should be able to go in here and... Oh, yeah. Gotta give our little... Blah, 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 blah. Well, it definitely makes a good FM radio, if nothing else. Okay, so there's K-Jazz. So, channel 6 is right below that. That's channel 6. Not getting any video through.
Healthy, stay safe, and stay strength and love, Los Angeles. Thank you. Happy to take questions.
Okay, we got a picture here, and when this gets dark out here, we'll take a look at this. But what I had to do, because all of these pots on the back are so frozen, what I did is I just cut one of the wires off the vertical hold and clip leaded another pot in there so I could adjust the vertical hold to get it to lock. So I got a picture. All of the issues that you're going to see here are due to bad capacitors. And a lot of those black beauties under there are actually getting warm to the touch. They're so leaky. So I don't want to run it a lot. I don't want to molest it too bad. I don't want to give the guy that's adopting it something that's so molested. So I'm just doing the absolute minimum to get it to work, which is this. And that's it. We have it hooked to the converter box and rabbit ear antennas.
And that it was significantly more dangerous for smokers, but just didn't care. The attorneys with the Lung Cancer Law Center have decades of experience and are here to determine if and when you were exposed to asbestos and who should compensate you. If you've been diagnosed with lung cancer, call the Lung Cancer Law Center at SWMW Law. Don't pay anything until we win.
Welcome back to Stand Up Nashville live from Zany's.
There you can see both filaments burning, and the reason why one filament would go out is because that's a 12-volt tube with a center tap, so they have the two filaments in parallel. So all this deflection issue is caused by bad capacitors.
You guys ready to keep this thing going? Alright, you can see this next guy on ethics.
Now Dr. Sanjay Gupta is cutting through the hysteria, separating facts.
Also, I'm running the voltage a little low because if I turn it up anymore, the thing starts to wig out. It's just all bad capacitors. It's all those leaky black beauties. See, there it goes, wigging out. So if I turn the voltage down here, it just needs capacitors. This
It's not good. Got 2 girls too. Got 2 little girls. My youngest girl, Emma Grace, my 2-year-old little chocolate.
man, it's amazing how rock solid the vertical is, though. The vertical is rock solid in this as far as rolling. After I change those pots, or change that pot. This is a good restoration candidate. It will produce a decent picture in a dim room. Even the face doesn't even look that bad as far as being all like bloomed out, all cloudy. It's not that bad. So yeah, this is a good restoration candidate. I'm going to pull those fuses out. I'm going to pull my 2 tubes out. You can have the rest. I'm going to start turning the voltage down. Jeez, that's... Yeah, it kind of goes dark there. Anyway, that's partial resurrection of a 1950 Hoffman television set device. There's real potential here, real potential.